crap in there. They can do that.
Help themselves.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay. All right, we're gonna call this workshop to order, and everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Carly, if you can do the roll call, please.
Nidinger,
Here,
Thomas,
Here.
Thompson. Here. Reed.
Here.
Penny.
Here.
Jim.
Looks like our first item is the Rays Sunrunner joint event.
Do you want to? Or
Want me to lead off of
Yeah,
that?
go for it.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, this is something that came up. I attended, Patty Jo and I attended the Tampa Bay Beaches Chamber Annual Awards Luncheon. And the president of the Rays, Brian Auld, was the keynote speaker. And he kept talking about just how great Rays partnership is with Sunrunner, Sunrunner this, Sunrunner that. So I thought, sitting there, I came up with this idea, and I managed to get some time and speak with him. And I said, you know, I don't know if you're aware, but our city, South Pasadena, is the only city that the thing runs the complete length of. It doesn't cover the whole length of St. Pete, doesn't cover the whole length of St. Pete Beach. So I said, how about we do some sort of Rays South Pasadena appreciation kind of day? And so led to me talking with his VP of community outreach. Then Carly and I had a conversation. I can't remember her name or her title, but she does group sales. So they're talking about putting together a day where we pick out a day that would be good for us all. And of course, now we're bringing it to the full commission before we move forward to see what you guys' thoughts are on it. But I think it could be a really good way to get some people in this, using the Sunrunner and drawing some attention to our city,
Right.
you know, through our
So
social.
it'd be like a day where we'll go to the game or something like
Yeah,
that?
it would
Is
be a
that,
day to go to the game. We'd have a section of tickets on, you know, everybody have to pay for their tickets, obviously, but I think there's some sort of group rate that we would be talking about.
Right.
Haven't gotten too far into the meat and potatoes of it yet. It's just kind of an idea that came to my head, and I thought I'd talk to him about it. And now I feel like it's gone far enough, and Carly and I feel it's gone far enough to bring it to the full commission. And just, I think it'd be a good, fun day.
Sounds like a good idea, something good for the citizens and everything else, and, yeah.
And we got the race schedule, and I think it was a July date that I said to you looked best.
July 22nd was what you were.
Yeah, July 22nd is a Saturday. And if that works, I guess we can go forward with discussing that with the raid.
They've asked us to look at dates and to come back to them with what we think would be a good day to try to do this. So, not
July
knowing.
26th, is that what we said?
July 22nd.
22nd,
It's
that's
a
Saturday.
Did
Saturday,
they say who they're playing on that day?
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
And it is a it's a 4:10 game, so it's a Saturday.
Yeah. So they're talking about working with PSTA to get some dedicated buses, not just everybody standing there waiting for the regular bus to come up, and possibly Hello Kitty,
DJ Kitty?
DJ Kitty.
They ought to be able to do that without any problem.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, the hope was to kind of partner together with both the Rays and the Sunrunner.
Yeah.
And so there would be a discount ticket link available to South Pasadena residents that we could post and share and whatnot. So any of our interested residents could participate, and then the Sunrunner would know that we're doing this so that they could put some extra attention on our area and put, like you said, DJ Kitty on one of the buses, and just to kind of let our residents know, hey, you can get to and from the Rays games pretty easily on this
yeah.
on this bus. So
I don't see anything in my calendar for that day. I'll check with Barbara and see what, she'll make sure she's got nothing for us. But it looks good. Good. Is it like a day game?
It is.
it's 4:10. 4:10.
4:10 in the afternoon.
Okay.
So not a 7, but and not 1. We looked for a 1 o'clock. But it was surprising once they sent us the schedule. I was like, wow, they haven't even had the All-Star break yet, but there's not a whole lot of weekends left where there's games in town. I was
It's
kind of
moving quick,
surprised.
yeah.
So,
Sounds good.
all right, thank you.
All right.
Motion.
Good. I think Jim needs a minute, so I don't know if any of the other directors have anything
This
they want
morning
to
on Channel
share.
9 News, they talked about our mural program
They did.
Great.
a couple times.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I don't
I
know,
know.
did we,
I said you needed a minute, and you came back.
Have you seen the votes on the Dolphins?
yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of it.
Yeah, it's
votes,
great.
A lot of votes.
So
But it's good, and I think tonight, isn't there a Zoom meeting tonight on the mural?
there is a community meeting. We had an in-person community meeting last week. There is a Zoom community meeting tonight, just to answer questions for residents or businesses or anything. And then tomorrow there is an artist informational meeting. So those that have seen this and are interested in applying to be an artist for it, there's a separate meeting for them tomorrow. It is on. It's Creative Mills is hosting it, but it's shared on our Facebook.
What time are they
So
doing
I'll-
that tonight?
6:30, I think.
So
So it's on the city website.
it's linked to it from our website. Does that make sense? Yeah, absolutely. We'll be doing another probably MailChimp. It's our like email blast. So I'll make sure that I have Virginia send another one. She did it last week, so we'll do another one that's like for the Zoom one tonight. So the one last week was about 45 minutes to an hour. So it's not.
Lots of good questions and.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
things.
good feedback, good questions. I think a lot of people just want to hear more about it, and so, but we got a lot of really good responses, so people seem excited about it. So, yep, so that's tonight.
It'll be nice and cool anyway. Budget must be full and running over.
The bottles are crazy. I mean, you gotta open them.
They're so flimsy.
Yeah.
Don't waste any.
No, very lightweight. Easy to crush.
And that's what I did, I was putting the lid on and I kind of did.
Let me,
Speaking of that plastic, did you see in the news that interstate that collapsed because the truck turned over? It was upstate. They used the recycled plastic to temporarily fix that until they can get the other, because they couldn't get the supplies until they got the other one built. And my dad used to be in the asphalt business, so I knew a lot about it. And I thought, I've never heard of using crushed plastic like that to redo that. I guess they heat it once it gets, I don't know.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put a lot of stuff in asphalt nowadays. Fiberglass,
Yeah.
things.
concrete too.
Yeah, concrete.
Oh, in case y'all didn't see it, there is a Florida League of Cities, I think it's a webinar today about the change over to Form 6. So if you have questions on that, it's today at 2:00. It's a webinar, so.
Signed up for it.
Okay.
And,
What is it for?
The Form 6, I'm just changing from Form 1 to Form 6, so it's just questions for.
I'm hoping they're gonna send us a link to look at the video because I don't know if I'm gonna be out of my meetings.
Ridiculous.
If not, let me know, I can ask, because a lot of times they'll provide the information afterwards if we ask for it. So, if you need it, but. So.
So we're gonna move on to the budget as soon as Jim's ready here. He got us all ready before he got himself ready.
You got a minor detour about that.
Go ahead and get started here. Before I get started, I do have a request here from the band. Number one, to put them in next year's budget, which we always do, and asking for a stipend to be paid this year, the $1,000 that we budget, so I guess I'm asking permission or consensus to go ahead and do that.
We budgeted, right? for
Yeah,
him?
yeah, we budgeted $1,000 for
I
it.
guess everybody's fine with that, we budgeted
Yeah,
for him,
sure.
so.
They sent us a little summary of, you know, their cash position basically is all it is, but, so. I'll get rid of that there. And I gave you several handouts, and the first one it's the Exhibit A's is Finance and Administration. And basically, as I've said in the past, I think the most valuable analysis is that Exhibit A2, which basically gives you a 5-year history of all the expenditures for finance. I did not see a lot of,
On the first page, A, why do you have bank charges down by like $1,000, 1,100?
actually, in 2020, we're actually not been paying any. We just set up a sweep account, and they're gonna try to balance it so that they have a formula basically based on your cash balance charges, and if you don't have enough cash balance, there's bank charges. But
Okay.
they're gonna try to maintain that at 750, and they're sweeping the rest. So I'm not anticipating any bank charges in all honesty, but I left the budget in there just to be safe, so.
Real quick, Jim, on the accounting and audit, I'm just curious, why is there a $6,000 swing every other year?
Page are you on, Tom?
First page.
First page.
Okay.
Because you got 21, budget was 14,900, 22 was 20,200, it goes back to 14,900, now it's back to 20,000.
Accounting and auditing is it's an allocation. I can only tell you what I put in there this year. And there is a fluctuation. One item that we have to do a actuarial calculation with Foster and Foster for what they call other post-employment benefits. It's an item that goes into the financial statements. And every other year, they have to do a full analysis. In the interim, they only have to do a partial, so it's about half the cost. I budgeted $4,000 for that this year. We just paid them 2 years ago, $3,800, so I put $4,000. Yeah, so that's the biggest reason. This year, and I'll cover it because part of the auditing fees get allocated to fire, I allocate some to sewer, and I allocate some to reclaimed water. It's based on the prior year's budget is how we do it. We talked about the audit committee last time we met. What I did is, the audit fee in total is $24,000 a year. I bumped it 15%. It hasn't gone up in 3-4 years.
Because we have to go to RFP on that.
Go to RFP. So I bumped it to 27,000, 27,600 actually. 14,330 is allocated to administration. About 8,200 got allocated to fire. Sewer's gonna get $3,950, $4,000, and reclaimed about 1,000. So when you look at our accounting and auditing, it's 14,330 for the auditors. There's, I put an extra 1,200 in there for just side consulting, and typically don't use it, so there's an extra 1,200 in there. We pay the GFOA $700 every year for that certificate of achievement. So we have to pay that out in there, and then the 4,000 OPEB, so that goes to 20,350. So that's what I included in there. Okay. The only significant thing that I kind of need to explain is finance salaries and wages. And it spills over into the benefits, obviously, retirement and health insurance. We're splitting a new employee this year. of that salary is going in there, so that's bringing that percentage up on the increase there. And it's still a full-time position, so we have the additional $8,000 in group health insurance. So you'll see that reflected in, the higher percentage there on the health insurance. Because we talked at the last meeting, citywide, I bumped health insurance 8.5% based on two-year average, so. But that's a little bit higher because of that extra position. I didn't have too many. Computer services, I think is actually, if I recall, it was down just a hair. No, it's up $2,000. We finance consists of, we allocate Tyler Technologies annual fee between CID and administration. Administration's share of that is $20,628. We also pay Velocity IQ $8,334 a year. I kept a little bit of IMS in there. We're still open. We're not going to close our IMS account until all systems are running. I included about 4 months in there, so we may not have to use it, about $2,140. Finance has a company called Revise to handle our website. I budgeted $2,000 for that. I think it's $1,800, but I gave it a little bump just in case. We buy Barracuda software once a year, it's $500, and then I put a miscellaneous $1,000 in there, so budget came to $34,600. Like I said, we might get a little shy of $2,000. So that is something that just has a little work on. Any other questions? Yeah, that Schedule A2, when you look at the actuals, it looks like in '22, we spent about 99.2% of our budget, so we're kind of right. we're kind of
Pretty
right
close.
on budget.
Dead on the money.
Closest we've got a lot.
Okay. The next one is community improvement. I don't know if Terry wants to come up just briefly. I did not.
Morning.
Too close.
And again, when I look at community improvement, salaries is up because we're splitting the 50% salary between finance and CD for our assistant. She's doing imaging for it, scanning all the blueprints and things, and getting that up to date over there.
So far, so good in 2 weeks? Moving along.
Yeah, we just kind of got started.
And what's the difference between computer consultant and consultant services? One is up and one is down.
Consultant services is for Cal Giordano, for our planning
Oh, okay,
services.
right.
And it went down because we did the comp plan changes last year, so we don't feel like we'll need as much this year as we did last year for all that. Still have some things to do, but.
And the computer consultant is the
That
local
would be the.
IT people?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's Velocity and
Yeah, for CID, it's Velocity. IQ, we budget $3,420 towards that department, about $285 a month. They break it out on their invoices. And then Tyler is $15,651. So Tyler in total is running about 36 and a half, something like that a year for the annual fee. So,
The new program in there too?
and there's also 12,000 included for Forerunner.
For that new program that we're working on for the,
Oh, right,
the
yeah.
software.
So, and I kept just a little 4 months worth of IMS in there just to keep it open. We should, we're thinking go live April 1st, but August 1st, I'm sorry.
The other A.
Same, starting with an
I've done it before too.
A. So when you add those all up, it comes to 32,991 that I budgeted, rounded it up to 33,000.
The line item for expense accounts, there's nothing ever been in there for the last 3 or 4 years. Why do we still keep that there?
Because it's in the system.
It's just, this spreadsheet actually,
Yeah,
about 20 columns out here that are being hidden, so, I could
Yeah.
get rid of it. but,
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Everything is,
I think that was for like the meetings that we.
There was a total
for
logical
volunteers,
explanation.
yeah.
The books, dues, and memberships went up. It's a code cycle year, so we have to order all new code books this year. So,
everything
Looks good.
about what I expected.
The copier, we're getting a new copier in finance and CID. I think that's, what we're anticipating is $3,225 a year on that. And then we budgeted extra supplies in CID because of the new,
the scanner copier that we got, the supplies are a little pricey. But,
Guess we're good with CID? Look at Public Works next.
oh, yeah, you want to.
I do. I have one other thing. We got a email from Energov Monday, I think it was, last Monday, so we've gotten through the configuration portion, and we're down to 40 hours left in our billable hours that we have put in there. So we are at the point, I'm thinking next week, we're gonna start testing, where they're gonna give us the actual program. We're gonna be able to start working in the environment. They still have things they have to do to tweak it as we test it out and make sure it's not. So they're asking for more hours. I'm yelling at them, but they're asking for more hours. They proposed, was it 165 hours they think it'll be to finish it?
Yeah.
It's a shared services, so it's, I'm trying to, but I mean, it's gonna take what it's gonna take at this point. It's, we're at the finish line, 130 an hour.
At 165?
Yeah, so it's $21,000 is what they're asking for.
$21,450 they're asking for.
So they need more time to.
So it's we work together through the
Yeah.
whole configuration process, so I'll spend 2 hours a day, 3 days a week, going over everything with their consultant, and then they put it in the background. And then they come back and we make more changes. Not necessarily changes, but different processes. So each one of the building permits has to be built out. So whether it's a mechanical permit, a new building, and so.
The original estimate was just kind of under budgeted.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I talked to him about that. I'm like, we asked you for what it's gonna take to finish this project, and that was the configuration portion.
They need to go back
And
and
I-
sharpen their pencil again.
I,
I mean, that's my position.
Yeah.
They gave us the initial estimate, and I don't think we can just arbitrarily say, okay,
Okay.
fine, yeah, no, 21,000.
Well,
They
and
need
the
to come
way it-
back something more reasonable.
kind of the way it works is they only bill us for what we actually use.
Mm-hmm.
So it's,
We
They're-
don't have to use that.
if we don't have to use it all, they won't use it all, but kind of at that position where I'm not sure,
That's right.
you know, at this
So are they only
point.
billing us when they talk to you, or after they get done, and they go back and do?
So they're also doing the stuff in the background as well. So it's a
Yeah.
process that they work through. I'm just not sure how
So pretty much we have to go by what they say they're doing in the background, how long it takes them to do it.
And they do a lot of stuff, and I'm not negating that they've done a lot to build this system. I guess my big issue is, why is the system not already built and we just tweak it? I don't understand that portion of
That's
it.
kind of the
Yeah.
way they sold it.
Yeah, that's, they did, yeah.
So it's, I'm at this point where we're a month and a half from going live with the program.
You got 40 hours left now.
Right, and they're supposed to be out here for a week. That week we go live.
And
So
they
that's
think-
that 40 hours.
They think another 100, the 40?
Yes.
200 more hours.
We
So
have,
Say they
the 40's
missed
already
out.
in the budget.
we have not,
We've not spent it all.
we have not done a budget amendment at this point because, number one, we're working on a credit with them. Because we switched systems.
Correct.
We switched over, so their original amounts, they started billing us on, we're kind of fighting with them about that. So I have not done a budget amendment. We're gonna have to do a budget amendment for about $58,000 right at this point in time.
The
We
original
budgeted
contract
40.
was 30-some thousand difference, and then we added the 26. So we've already gone through that portion. We are looking at, I think it's about $28,000 in credits. 21,000.
21,211, yeah.
So
So
it's,
that we're,
I
that
think
we're
software
pretty,
Companies, they all
I-
do this. It's just,
I
it's
know.
just like that. Modus operandi.
I mean, can you sit down and negotiate with them in any way, or?
I will be
Yeah.
discussing, but it's, I mean, the hours, whatever hours we use are the hours we use. So it's kind of,
Yeah.
But
What
I would-
they-
I'd
what
like
they
to see
kinda
them give
did-
us a guaranteed maximum hours that they will get it.
I asked for that.
They won't even.
they won't do it.
they did this with
Software.
finance because what it is they'll basically tell Terry that your people can set some of this up. The problem is they don't have the training to do it. It would take them 4 times longer than it would take them, so you're kind of behind the 8 ball. You don't really know. what it's
So
gonna
once the
take.
system is done and usable, what are we gonna have to budget every year for hours? Do we know
That's
that?
That
the
15, the 15,000 that we just talked about in the
That's the
computer.
That,
So
that's the annual
It's
fee.
almost 16, so 15.5, 16, close to
But I mean,
that.
is that, no matter how much we need from them,
Yes.
they'll cover it?
Well,
Unless there's,
Unless we do changes.
unless we make a change?
So that's the basic support and the annual fees to run the program. And
take care of it.
if we want to all of a sudden add another
And they
process, that's a
won't-
whole different.
Yeah, they will not, I mean, let me
So
tell you.
if they have a glitch, that.
They fix it.
They fix that?
Yes.
Yeah.
These software
And they do
things are
updates
tough.
and they do those things and
They kind of get you, and you get to the
Yeah.
point where
Yeah.
you're there and you have to be there, and then something changes.
Yep.
But I mean, it's pretty typical
Well,
from anything I've seen. It
Yep.
just seems like an awful lot.
I would
It
say, you know,
is.
we're kind of over a barrel here, I guess.
Yeah.
But I really don't wanna. Yeah, I really don't see, if we have to go back and get more money again after this number of hours, it's gonna be a lot to consider. We have to figure it out, but I just don't see what else we're gonna do at this point. We've got enough money invested, we can't just stop, so it's like, it is what
Was
it
no
is.
negotiating with them at all? They didn't?
they're gonna look at the, so the things that they spelled out, I sent them back an email saying, you know, this was already supposed to be in place. We had to make changes because you guys didn't put it in right. So they're looking at those things to see if they can whittle that number down a little bit. But she said any changes that we needed to make or any, you know, anything that was not discussed prior that were different, then that would be billable hours, so.
And the original contract wasn't like X dollars, it was based on
We had-
hours
Right.
and their estimate of hours, but, you know, we did add things in CID, I
Yeah, so
I mean, we added some features that weren't there, and
but nothing, we're keeping it very simple, so.
But in their world, it ate up the hours.
Correct.
So,
So we had originally 380 in the contract, is how many hours we had. And we added the additional 22. 220, I'm sorry. I forgot a zero. We added 220, so this is another 165.
So more than double, yes.
Yeah.
let's try to add more.
Well, I guess you're trying to whittle it down with them based on what you're saying. Correct. And
how much do they
What
charge us
else?
per billable hour?
130.
And that's a discounted rate, they're up to like 185 now. We're getting at it.
so they're holding the rate that they gave us. That's good. Well, it's not like it's something we can do ourselves. I mean, you gotta have them.
Everybody okay? We got
Yeah,
consensus, I guess.
whatever we have to do, I guess,
I
sure.
mean, to abandon it right now, I don't.
No, you
they're
can't
gonna
do
give us our money back.
No, 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 no. And this is something that's really gonna help long-term. You know? Yeah, yeah, I'm hoping.
So, okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Works.
Next is Public Works.
Public Works. Here it comes.
Howdy, howdy.
Got every one of them. All right, I think we're good. Make that easy. No, it's an easy one. No, there's a lot here, but it's an easy one. It's an easy one.
Kind of let you ask questions on the actuals on Exhibit C2. The thing I was looking at last night, again, if you look at that 5-year history,
C2?
yeah, C2,
Okay.
page 2, you see that all these actuals are coming 98% of budget, 97% of budget, 100.55, just slightly over, but he's spending right at budget, so just from history, Sean's budgeting pretty tight, so.
Gotta stay out of trouble.
We did hire one new employee in Public Works. They actually started just a couple of weeks ago. So we do have one additional employee. Adds about 38.5 to those salaries, so you see that's the percent.
Most of it's all salary, that the, really the increase.
Yeah, that's where the
Retirement
increase is.
fund, insurance, stuff like that, all ties together. And insurance, we're still not sure on. You won't know the final on that.
No. And
Hoping it's
for
gonna be
some
less.
reason, the coding for all the building insurances is coded to 541. It's like City Hall, the building, it's all Sean's responsibility evidently, because that's where it's been for 20 years. So
What's that?
you get charged the insurance, so you see it's up like 30
Yeah.
some odd percent there. And they told me, property coverage, they told me to budget a 35% increase, so this 27% is in line. That includes all,
That's accurate.
and we hope it, I'm hoping it.
Everything else is looking at 100% increase.
At least.
So, but I did not see any
Yeah.
parks operating. Looking at it last night, I thought was maybe,
Everything else looks good.
it's
I
hard
mean,
to
it's-
tell, but I would have maybe bumped it a little bit, but
Yeah, I think one of them you did bump a little bit.
I bumped
It
the
was,
buildings.
yeah, it was like $1,200, yeah. And then you see the holiday decorations, we went from 20 to 10, because we got boatloads coming this year with the remainder of the budget, so, I mean, we should be really good unless there's something, you know, more that you guys want or something, but I mean, we're, like, as lights wise, we have for this building and the
Light
public
up the
work,
city.
and public works building too.
He's lighting us up.
So, I mean, there's probably about almost another 11,000 worth of lights coming.
That's great.
Could look like Clark
Before this
Griswold.
year ends.
Yeah, on top of what we are, on top of what we have now, so, yeah, we'll have to start in August putting the lights up instead of
You
September.
think that 10's gonna be
Yeah,
enough?
right.
I think so, because, I mean, we have tons, and with what we don't have or whatever, as long as, you know, it's, you know, we're not buying a Christmas tree, so, I mean, I think
Right,
so.
yeah, that's true.
Like I said, I just spent,
We did have that
it was
last
like almost, I think it was like just a tick over 11, actually, with lights and more of the, icicle lights and the regular lights, and, I mean, and then plus the ones that the squirrels get, we repair, you know, we heat shrink them and, you know, so we have those also. So, I mean, I think we're pretty good set, and if something comes up that we need something, you know, 10,000, that's a lot of lights.
Okay.
Good.
You know, I think we should be okay.
Okay, all right.
All right, well, speaking of killers, I have,
Oh, boy, here we go.
I did get the final, quote back for the playground. I hate to even say it. It was $93,000.
Doesn't surprise
No, but what I'm thinking, 41,000 of that cost was redoing the whole mat over there. Once they remove the old, put the new back, you know, but I'm thinking of just, having them fill in the spots that they, you know, cut nice squares or circles and just fill in the spots. They'll be a little cleaner than the rest, but by the end of the summer, once the leaves fall and everything, it's all gonna look the same.
Yeah.
And just, you know, and just do a few of the couple of the bad spots and where they put the new, and not do the whole thing. Just for the fact,
Did
just,
we want the bid on this?
that's already a Manatee County contract that already went for,
Okay.
I just piggyback off
How
of
much
it.
do you think that's gonna knock out the price?
Well, if they wanted 41 to do all that, it probably couldn't be
20 maybe?
10 maybe to do the patching, and they also wanted $10,000 to remove what was there and dispose of. Well, we looked at that. I mean, we can do that, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
call the guy back and, you know, have him, you
We'll
know,
rip it out.
yeah, we'll remove
Whatever
the
it is.
equipment that's there, and then just let them come and install and then do their thing, and then just patch the bad spots. And like I said, I mean, it's a playground, and like I said, with
What
all
happens
the.
with the old equipment? Is it reuse somebody else or something?
What- I asked the guy that if they even bought any of that back, but he said just for the fact of it being used and the liability, if, you know, you sell it to somebody, you know, I mean, that's always but I mean,
Take it to the scrapyard, get a few bucks for it.
most of it's plastic, you know,
Yeah.
so, you know.
So is it like falling apart?
It's-
And you don't
it's
want the
war.
kids to get hurt?
Yeah, you know, that's like the thing you climb up and slide down, you know, the bars are, you know, they're rusting, so we keep going over and, you know, grinding them down and painting them and keeping, you know, so it's, I mean, it's 2005, I think so, I mean, it's,
You know what I think is let us know what will save doing it this way, cutting out the area around.
yeah, no, I'm
And
gonna
then
talk to that guy.
Let's determine then if it's
Right,
if it's
no.
worth, we just go ahead and do the whole thing or patch it.
Mhm.
Because,
I mean,
you know, it's
yeah.
gonna look so much better doing the whole thing than it is a patch, no matter what you do.
No,
No matter how
I
long it
agree.
takes to fade it.
No, I do, I mean, I agree. you
But I'd
know.
like to see what the difference would be before we make.
I agree, and I agree with that also, you know, but yeah, I was just looking at that and I was like, man, there's a lot of, you know, we can, you know, I mean,
So they were
10,000
gonna
just to
charge you
remove
to
it.
get all that, the rubber stuff out of there?
No, they're gonna actually add it on top of that, but, you know, removing the existing, you know, you'll have holes, cause the
Right.
existing, I think those were poured into the concrete, cause that was all done in one shot. You know, some of them, and the other, the fire truck and the little climbing wall thing, that is bolted to the top. You know, then the other one will just have to cut out a little bit, and then we can cut that flush with the ground, and then, you know, they'll fill it in. But I'm gonna have the guy come back out one more time, but I'm gonna see how much we can save for doing a lot of that stuff on our own.
It's used quite a bit, so it's, there's always kids.
No, that's, and like I said, you know, getting time, you know, but, and, yeah, and then again, you know, if the pavilion thing, you know, goes by the wayside, you know, we can always take a little bit of money out of that to finish that, and, you know, and I'm waiting on that. I met a contractor out there already, so I just gotta meet with the roof guy, and, you know, he seemed to think, man, he goes, yeah, cause the pilings, the bricks on the outside of that they're on concrete poles. Those are concrete poles, so, you know, bust that off of there, nice clean stucco, and do some painting, and, you know, he's in the new roof, and depending, I'm gonna get a price for a regular shingle and a metal, you know, just see, you know, I mean, you know, and you never have to worry about it again, you know. Of course, that roof we got almost 30 years out of, 25, I think 25,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, so, I mean,
Well, whatever it is, it's gonna be cheaper than what the,
oh, no, agreed. I mean, and that, you know, yeah, and then, you know, I'm gonna meet with a, paver guy, you know, so we can do pavers underneath that, just so it's not all that, you know, ugly looking concrete, you know, so they'll, you know, whatever they can do just to make it look nice, and then we can redo some sidewalks coming up to it, and just, and then probably, you know, save a boatload. And one more, sorry. I got an email, Monday from Otis Elevator. The elevator at our annex building. Now it's running fine, but it's called the 211 control board. It is obsolete now. You know, they do a replacement for $19,000. We don't have to do anything now. I was just thinking of maybe adding that to, like, out at the end of the 5 years for the, you know, our capital.
Yeah, because obsolete, I know their maintenance contracts usually don't cover anything that's obsolete.
Right,
You have to
and-
buy it, yeah.
And, you know, there is a replacement for that they could get in like 3 days. So, I mean, I don't know if that's something we want to add, or, I mean, it might never go bad.
To the 5-year plan, you mean?
Yeah, if we want to do that, or if it just happens, we can just leave it out and either do it a budget amendment or rob Peter to pay Paul with
So
something we're
like
not
buy
gonna
it
use.
now and just have it?
No, I don't even think buy it.
Oh,
I would
okay.
just wait, because I mean, you don't know. I mean, look at the elevator down here. I mean, that's 1977, you know, we only, you know, my time here, we only put the last few years we put a little bit of money in it, but usually, you know, so I mean, it's not the end of the world if that elevator goes bad, we gotta wait 3 days to get a part neither, you know, it's only one story.
But
You know.
budgeting, it doesn't lock in the price. It can- we need
No,
to
no,
figure
that
out
doesn't
pricing.
lock, yeah, that doesn't lock in no price.
With a budget amendment,
Yeah,
and if the need
but it might
arises.
never go bad. You know, it was just something they sent me just for, budgetary purposes, hey, you might wanna think about putting this in. But I mean, for that amount, we can always, like I said, we don't have to now.
How much was it?
It was 19 something, so I was thinking maybe 20 or 22,000, but,
They're obsolete.
Mhm. so, like I said, I mean, that's however you wanna do that. If you wanna leave it out of the budget, that can work too, cause, you know, there's always.
Put it in, I just put it, you know, the years
5,
out,
yeah,
and
put it
we'll
5
keep,
years
we'll keep
out.
rolling it as, things go.
Yeah, because, I mean, you never know, you know, other than a bad lightning strike. I mean, that elevator, knock on wood, you know, has been, you know, pretty tight since it was installed, so.
Okay.
You know, it was just something that popped in my computer, Monday morning, so I was like, ooh, yeah. I think it does, from the one pole, I do believe.
That keeps lightning mostly
Mhm.
away because.
Yeah,
you
I can't
run it.
remember if that building rolls under their ground. That's terrible, because I look at it every day.
That's okay. Wouldn't try to- wouldn't-
Put them on the spot. There you go.
What did you all agree to add and when? I just wanna make sure it's like stated clearly.
22,000, I was thinking 3 years out. but
Okay,
if
I
you
mean,
wanna do
whichever.
5, I mean,
Whichever, because we can always roll it. I
You
mean,
can
like I
roll,
said, at least
yeah.
it's there.
Or we can bring it back,
or we can
Mhm.
bring it back.
see problems are gonna happen. So,
Yeah. So 3 years out, I guess, would be okay.
Let's do
right?
3, and then we'll look at it every year.
So that would be FY 3 years from now, or 3 years from the budget we're doing?
XY 27?
26, 27.
27.
27.
27?
Yep.
27.
Okay, so $22,000 in FY 27 for elevator.
Yes,
Okay.
But 27, it'll be more than that.
probably.
Well, I'm
At least
gonna
one.
put 22,000, because he said it's
Well,
19.
Yeah.
It'll be obsolete, they won't be able to find it,
Yeah.
and they'll have to they'll have to do a modernization
Right.
on it.
$150,000.
Yeah, no kidding.
For
That's-
200,000.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's what it'll be.
All right. But yeah, okay, perfect. But yeah, now hopefully by the end of summer, I will have, a good number for the, just doing something to our existing pavilion to,
Yeah, give us an
I
idea.
could probably do that for under 3 million.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, no, so we should have something a little more, realistic by then.
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay,
Good job.
good job. I think we got that.
Is
one
that it?
nailed down.
We good?
Yep,
All right.
I think so.
Thank you all.
Last one, I did not really change a whole lot on these. These are your decisions here.
It's like a library card, the only thing that went up.
Yeah.
More people doing library cards? I think less people.
Well, it's,
We're basically at budget already,
we
aren't we?
spent 18, 18.7.
Yeah.
What can happen in that thing, I use 253 library cards. It fluctuates, 229 would be about a 16.5 budget. But what can happen is we're sending, St. Pete Beach a check. And like on that 18.7, it was like done 2 days before year end. So we really don't have the money back on, the money we get back, the $25 we get back on those until later. So that if a payment's made last day of the year, last week of the year, it can tend to bump that up. But I used 253.
Compared to the cost of being part of the
And what
library,
I did is I just took.
pennies.
I think I took 2022, and my report has a column with all our $25 that we get back, and I took the total divided by 25, and I came up with 253,
Yeah,
250 some library cards, so
okay.
that's how I did it.
Block Party, everything looks pretty well funded.
I mean, I gave you back up to what got spent in those accounts. I didn't see, I bumped the art show block party up 500 just because in '23, the out-of-pocket was 10,315 before sponsorships. With sponsorships, we spent $625, I think, if you net those out of pocket.
Have we decided to stay away from the scholarship award from here on out? It's been a while since we did that.
That was donated money,
Was it?
yeah, and we went through it.
I will say we also had a pretty difficult time actually giving it out many years. So it was not only donated money, but some years we would get one, some years we would get no applicants. Some years we might get 2 or 3, but they weren't in the city. It wasn't super easy for us to give it out.
Yeah.
So it was something we stopped pursuing when the donated funds ran out.
Anybody see anything they want to add to or subtract from? Otherwise, I think it is
No,
what it
looks
is.
good.
Okay.
The community band, that's never changed, has it? Well, it's changed a little bit here in the last,
It's gone up and down in the past.
no.
Well, it's gone. Yeah, it was at 500 for a while.
Yeah.
And
It went down to
one year
zero
we
for a
get-
little bit. Well, because they stopped playing in the city for a little bit. They were having
That's
a
right.
little bit
That was
of
during COVID, wasn't it?
difficulty with where and when they'd play, and so for a little while they weren't active here. So
Do I need to do more? Is that good?
What?
Have they ever indicated they need any more than that?
They
probably
wrote a
will.
letter, and I think they just asked for the 1,000, right?
Yeah, and that's what,
They didn't really ask for a dollar amount, they just,
they send us their financials.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
What's the cost then for the year?
And they get donations.
Yeah. We'll leave it at
yeah, they gave a sheet here with, band boosters, 175, city co-sponsor, they only put 500 on here, it should, for 23, they haven't gotten their money for this year yet, though, so they're putting last year's money on there evidently, 500. Concert donations were 2,100, members' donations 297, so they brought in about $3,000
Yeah.
from July 22 to mid-June of 23 for a year, so. And they listing expenses of about $2,465, so. I'm sure their expenses will go up if you gave them more, but they figure out more music to buy or whatever.
Yeah, the sheet.
Good. So what's left?
Okay, next week, we will talk more about millage. And we have to do sewer and reclaim water. We may, I'll get you reclaim water, sewer as it sets, and then we need to go out and call and see what other cities are doing. If you recall, last year, we did not raise sewer rates or reclaim water because we thought the economy was a little bit tight, even though they had raised our reclaim water like 20-some odd percent, and the sewer processing is always up. It was up at least 5%. They told me to use 5% now, but that's not in stone yet.
We're gonna have to start setting a pace. try to
So-
keep up.
So, well, prior to that, I think we were keeping pace, we just kind of dropped back last year, so I'm thinking in my mind, we
Bring it back up.
might want to do a little bit of an increase, but, I'll have to kind of analyze that and see where it's at. I did send you all in a second email last night, the entire general fund. And I was very surprised, it had a surplus of about 923,720. I saw revenues of about 8,784,370 versus expenditures of 7,866,50. As you recall, we talked previous year of trying to get our reserves up because we were barely at 7. I'm not really sure where we're at for this year because I have to, number one, I gotta project, I gotta get out the crystal ball and see where I think my reserves will be. And I'm sure it's gonna come up a little bit from the, 7, but I think we can definitely use the money to bring our reserves up and get us more on track. I think it'd be good to kind of define a policy. Do we want 9 months? Do we want 12 months? When I started 20 years ago, we had 12 months in reserve.
That's a lot of reserve. Do we really need that much?
It is, but we,
It's not typical, is it, for a
it's
municipal?
not typical. Some of your larger cities keep 6 months, but they're living hand to mouth. And then if you get into a hurricane situation where we wouldn't, yeah, we might be, we might be hurting is what I'm thinking. I like the idea of keeping the millage rate the same, but under your trim rules, you would have to call it an increase. It is an increase basically because the increase in value on your property values. And in the back of my mind, I like the idea of building the reserves because we got a new fire station. We don't really know what the operating costs are gonna be in the new station. I would hope they would maybe go down, being more energy efficient and all that, but we really don't know the costs on that maintenance. We also have debt service to consider in the future, and I wouldn't be objectionable to taking 300,000 and transferring it to capital improvements and putting it in a CD as kind of an escrow, a reserve for debt service go down the road if we were to run into hard times or something. So that's
How
just,
long would you have to keep it in a CD? Like, what would you recommend?
I would just, right now, a year, and then look at it, do we need it in the next year? If we don't, you roll it again.
Right.
Yeah, just roll it, but, you know, just put it there for a reserve kind of situation. That's one thought of mine. But I mean, that's not gonna get us, this could get us close to 9 months in reserves. But, you know, you just talk about plan of what you could use it for down the road. I wouldn't mind just having some money sitting in reserve.
Makes sense. Gotta look out for the future.
Yeah.
Catastrophes.
So, you know, but I'll come back and that gives you kind of food for thought as to where you want the millage to be if you want it. But my suggestion is keep it where it's at.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
I have a quick question. So kind of feeding off what Jim said, our schedule has you all tentatively here on Thursday. So Jim and I had talked before, kind of seeing how this meeting went, what questions y'all had, what he had prepared. So my question is, are we meeting Thursday, or are we not meeting again until next
Let's go
Tuesday?
to Tuesday.
Do we wrap it up next Tuesday with everything? That's our last meeting, right?
We have tentatively
Oh,
for
right,
next
Thursday.
Tuesday and for next Thursday. The Thursdays are kind of our just in case,
Yeah.
depending on, because we don't know a lot of time how the discussion will go. So, so I'll notice that we'll be canceling this
Probably
Thursday.
should be able to. I just don't think I could scrape anything for this Thursday. You know, with one day in between, I don't think I could. I'm better off.
Yeah, we were pretty good the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, on
Yeah.
Tuesday, so it's rare that we have to do anything else.
I mean, I guess if you have any guidance for me, what you would like to see on Tuesday, I know I usually give you some options on millage. I'm telling you what I'm recommending. But, yes, and,
I mean, we can give us our regular breakdown, show us what an average home would pay, your little schedules you always give us, so we have that if we're asked questions.
That's
And,
always helpful.
Yeah.
and then we'll, then go from there. So, we'll get ready.
Yeah, sounds good.
Let's knock it out.
Let's do it.
Okay, no
Okay,
third, no
anybody else?
That's all I had.
Nothing. Okay, we are adjourned.
10 on the dot.